Guys, today we are going to talk about the for loop. How to control a for loop with how to control a servo motor with a for loop in Arduino. So the first thing you should do is to get an Arduino board and a servo motor and wire the servo to the right configuration. We should ground to the ground and power to the positive voltage, and the signal is going to the one of the digital outputs in here in this area of the servo. Be sure you connect these to one of the output that have the dash close to the number. That means that it has the PWM function available in order to control the servo. So in my case is 9, pin number 9. So we can go to the code. So if you want to use text, you can use the text for coding, or you can use the blocks. So if I go here to control, there are many loops available to select, like repeat while, if then else, and count. Basically this is the for loop that I'm talking about. So let's select this for loop, and the count, you can select the count up or count down. So for this example I'm going to count up, and I'm going to and this number represents the increments you want to do every time the program finishes with the loop. So I'm going to leave it like 1. So every time the program do a loop, I'm going to increment the variable by 1. Then in here you can select the variable that in which you want to store the counter. So you can go to variables in here, variables, and create a variable in here in this tab. For my case, I create a variable called servo position. So this is the one that I want to use. So I select here the one that says servo position, and then you have to specify where do you want the servo to start and when do you want the servo to finish. So let's start with 90 degrees. So it will start at 1 and then it go to 90 degrees. So the next step is to go to output, and you can select this one, rotate servo on pin 9. So pin 9 is my case in here. You can see pin 9 is the output of my Arduino. And you can specify the number of degrees that you want to move, but I want to use the servo position variable. So in this case, the servo position variable is going to start from 1, and it's going to have an increment of 1 on each loop, and this is the position that the servo is going to move by specifying this. So the other thing I want to do is to put a wait. Every time the servo do a loop or move 1 degree, I want the servo to wait 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds. So you can play around with this speed based on your needs. You can play around with this speed based on your needs and on your project constraints. Because if you don't specify the speed or the weight, and it's going to be very fast, and it could cause an accident with the load. Okay, so let's see what happens when we start the simulation. Okay, so you can see that it's moving 90 degrees and then start again. So our for loop is working. So you can like play around with the number of degrees you want to move. Let's say 180 in this case. Okay, so you reach the 180 and then start to do it again. So you can see as well what happens if you only put 10 milliseconds of wait. You can see the speed is very fast. So yeah, you can play around with this on your project, and also notice that you can use the same code to program the other two servos. If you are using 3 servos, you can use the code to program the other 2 servos. Just keep in mind that you need to set the starting point, and once the first servo finish, and then you have to move the second servo, and then move the third servo. So it's something that you have to think about, and we are going to talk about in the following lessons. Okay, have a good day.